A shadow falls upon the West Philippine Sea. A giant emerges from the mist. China's Coast Guard ship, CCG 5901, has arrived. This is no ordinary vessel. Nicknamed the Monster, it is a 12,000-ton behemoth. Armed and imposing, it sends a clear message. China is flexing its muscles. The Philippines watches with growing unease. The CCG 5901 has been spotted near Luzon Island, well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. This is a direct challenge, a provocation. Manila accuses Beijing of intimidation tactics, of attempting to assert dominance over the disputed waters. The Philippine Coast Guard is on high alert. They scramble ships and aircraft, their eyes fixed on the intruder. Radio messages crackle through the air, demanding the Chinese vessel withdraw. The tension is palpable. Every movement is scrutinized, every action a potential flashpoint. At the heart of this maritime standoff lies a cluster of rocks and reefs, seemingly insignificant, yet imbued with immense geopolitical weight: the Scarborough Shoal. This small, unassuming formation has become a symbol of larger territorial disputes and national pride. This disputed territory, located within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, is claimed by both Manila and Beijing, a flashpoint in the broader struggle for control of the South China Sea. The waters surrounding the shoal are not just a matter of national boundaries, but also of economic and strategic importance. For China, the Scarborough Shoal is a strategic prize. It represents a critical point in their expansive maritime strategy, offering both military and economic advantages. It offers a foothold in a region rich in resources and crucial for maritime trade. The South China Sea is one of the busiest maritime routes in the world, making control over these waters highly desirable. Control of the shoal would bolster China's claims in the South China Sea, a key component of its ambition to become the dominant power in the region. This control would not only enhance their territorial claims, but also their influence over international shipping lanes. The Philippines, however, views the shoal as an integral part of its national heritage and a vital fishing ground for its people. For generations, Filipino fishermen have relied on these waters for their livelihood, making the shoal an essential part of their daily lives. China's claim, they argue, is a violation of their sovereignty and a direct threat to their economic security. The tension has sparked numerous protests and diplomatic confrontations, highlighting the deep-seated animosity and mistrust between the two nations. The presence of the CCG 5901 only reinforces these fears. This massive vessel, often seen patrolling the disputed waters, serves as a constant reminder of China's assertive stance and the ongoing struggle for control over the Scarborough Shoal. The arrival of the CCG 5901, a massive and imposing vessel, sends shockwaves through the Philippines, causing widespread concern and anxiety among its citizens. This is not just about fishing rights or maritime boundaries. It is a matter that strikes at the very heart of national sovereignty. It is about national pride, a deep-seated sense of identity and belonging, about a nation's right to control its own destiny and protect its people and resources. The Philippines accuses China of bullying tactics, asserting that these actions are not just aggressive, but also unlawful. China is using its might to intimidate a smaller neighbor, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Philippine officials point to international law, emphasizing the importance of adhering to established rules and agreements. Specifically, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, known as UNCLOS, which both countries have ratified, committing themselves to its principles and guidelines. UNCLOS, they argue, clearly defines the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, and its sovereign rights within those waters, granting it the authority to manage and utilize marine resources. China's actions, they say, are a blatant disregard for international norms and a challenge to the rule of law. The Philippine government lodges a formal protest, a diplomatic move to assert its position and demand respect for its sovereignty. demanding that China withdraw the CCGG 5901 immediately and cease its provocative actions, allowing for a return to peaceful and lawful maritime activities. They call on the international community to condemn China's behavior, urging global leaders to take a stand, and to support the Philippines' right to defend its territory, ensuring stability and peace in the region. China remains defiant. The CCG 5901, they insist, is merely conducting routine patrols within Chinese territory. They reiterate their claim over the Scarborough Shoal, citing historical ties and dismissing the Philippines' claims as baseless. Beijing accuses Manila of exaggerating the incident, of playing the victim to curry favor with the international community, particularly the United States. China views U.S. involvement in the region with suspicion, seeing it as an attempt to contain China's rise and to maintain American hegemony. China defends its actions as necessary to safeguard its maritime rights and interests. They accuse the Philippines of allowing the U.S. to establish a military presence in the region, thus undermining regional stability. The deployment of the CCGG 5901, they argue, is a measured response to these perceived threats. Section 5. The Law of the Sea. A beacon of hope? The ongoing dispute over the Scarborough Shoal highlights the critical importance of international law in resolving complex maritime disputes. This contested area has been a flashpoint for tensions between nations, underscoring the need for a robust legal framework. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, adopted in 1982, provides a comprehensive framework for governing the world's oceans. It includes the establishment of exclusive economic zones, or EEZs, and delineates the rights and responsibilities of coastal states within those zones. This framework aims to balance the interests of various nations while promoting peaceful and sustainable use of marine resources. In 2016, the Philippines achieved a significant victory by winning a landmark case against China at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. This case set a precedent in international maritime law and was seen as a triumph for smaller nations standing up to more powerful adversaries. The tribunal ruled overwhelmingly in favor of the Philippines on most counts, effectively invalidating China's expansive claims in the South China Sea, which were based on its so-called nine-dash line. This ruling was hailed as a major step forward in upholding international law. China, however, rejected the tribunal's ruling, calling it null and void. Despite the international community's support for the decision, Beijing's stance has remained unchanged. Beijing continues to assert its historical claims over the South China Sea, raising serious questions about the effectiveness of international law when powerful states choose to ignore it. This ongoing defiance highlights the challenges faced by the international community in enforcing legal rulings and maintaining order in disputed regions. Section 6. The American Shadow. Looming large over this maritime dispute is the United States, a major military power with a vested interest in the region's stability. The U.S. has repeatedly affirmed its commitment to freedom of navigation in the South China Sea and has conducted naval operations to challenge China's expansive claims. Washington has provided military aid to the Philippines and has pledged to defend its treaty ally in case of an attack. The U.S. views China's actions in the South China Sea as a threat to the regional order and to its own interests. China, for its part, sees the U.S. as a meddling outsider, seeking to sow discord and to maintain its dominance in the region. The presence of U.S. forces, they argue, only exacerbates tensions and increases the risk of miscalculation. Section 7. The Specter of Conflict, a Region on Edge. The standoff over the Scarborough Shoal has raised the specter of conflict in the South China Sea, with warships and Coast Guard vessels from multiple countries operating in close proximity. The risk of miscalculation or accident is high. A spark could ignite a conflagration. A minor incident at sea, a misunderstanding, or an unintended escalation could have devastating consequences. The region holds its breath, hoping for a diplomatic solution but bracing for the worst. The international community watches with concern. A conflict in the South China Sea would have global ramifications, disrupting trade, destabilizing the region, and potentially drawing in major powers. The stakes are high, and the need for restraint and dialogue has never been greater. Section 8. Diplomacy, the only way forward. Despite the challenges, diplomacy remains the only viable path to resolving the tensions in the South China Sea. All parties must exercise restraint, avoid provocative actions, and engage in good faith dialogue. Multilateral forums, such as the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, can play a constructive role in facilitating dialogue and building trust. A code of conduct for the South China Sea, currently under negotiation, could help to manage maritime activities and prevent incidents at sea. The international community must encourage a peaceful resolution based on international law, respecting the rights and interests of all parties involved. The alternative is too dire to contemplate. The South China Sea, a region of immense beauty and economic potential, must not become a theater of conflict. Diplomacy, however difficult, is the only way forward. Don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.